All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies class, I've been going through the Mozilla Developers Learn Web Development series, and I'm in the Introduction to HTML, and I'm on the Getting Started. So I left off talking about empty elements, and we have talked about these already. All right. And what do I mean? Well, when you look right here, here's our beginning image tag right there, and it actually ends right here. The stuff that's inside of it are attributes. So the tag is img. The source tag tells us what the image is that we want to put in and where it exists. And that's all of this. So the source is the attribute, and the value of that attribute is what's in the double quotes. But this is just meant to show you, as they mentioned up above, that not all elements have an opening and a closing tag. Another element that doesn't have an opening tag and a closing tag is what's called a BR or line break tag. So let's change this. Let's make this a paragraph. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get rid of this and this and this and this and this. And one thing for you to notice is that even though all three of these things are on their own line, and let's put in our ending paragraph tag. All right, watch how it appears on screen. So this is how it looked, and let's refresh. Notice now there's just a space in between. Well, why is that? If I put them on different lines, why aren't they shown on different lines? And that's because of the way HTML works. Unless you explicitly say you want a line break in there, it treats line breaks, all right, it treats a line break as though it's just a single space. Notice if I come in here, and I'm going to hit tab a couple times, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to hit the space bar a few times. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to hit enter a few times. Now I'm going to save it. And I refresh, and notice it looks no different. So what if I do want to force this? What if I want hello on one line, hi on the next line, and goodbye on the next line? I don't want to go through all this stuff. I just want it like this. Then I can put in what are called BR tags. BR is short for line break. All right, I really don't need another one here, but I'll put one there anyway. Now watch the difference, please. Okay, so you can see the difference. The point of showing you this, though, is to show you that the BR tag is another one of those tags that doesn't have an ending tag. All right, it is just a tag. Now sometimes, and it used to be that you'd put in a BR tag, and you still can do this, like this, to basically say that it is an all-inclusive tag. Just in the same way in the image tag that we had here, it's legit to put in a backslash like that. You'll notice if I put these two things in and I refresh, it doesn't look any different. All right, that's considered old school, and it's not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's more work that you really don't have to do. So we can get rid of all those. All right. I've already started to get into attributes, but an attribute is basically something that you end up adding to an element. Now, when you think about it, let's say this was right here. This said the word person. All right. So we might have person, and then we might have first name equals Jeff, last name equals Scott, height equals 72, weight equals too much that I don't really want to talk about, etc. But things like first name, last name, height, weight, those are attributes. And they contain extra information, in my case, about a person element. Well, here, the attribute is class. The value of the attribute is editor-note. Now, they give you a couple rules here, and it says an attribute should have a space between it and the element that it's referring to. Should be followed by an equal sign, and it should be inside of quotes. Now, you can use single quotes or double quotes. I'm going to always use double quotes, and the reason for that is in many programming languages, single quotes and double quotes have a different meaning. Not so much in this language. All right. Okay. So it says another example of one of these elements is the A tag with the href and the title and the target. So what they say here is the A tag stands for anchor. We've talked about this before. Href is the hypertext reference that you want this to be basically pointing to. Title is something that you can put in there, as it says something like a description. So let's put a title into the one that we have. It says it appears as a tooltip when you hover over it. So we've got most of these things in our example already, or at least I believe we do. So let's look. So there's the image, there's the source, there's the alt. Let's come in, we'll put in a title. And I'm not going to say the Mozilla language. I'm going to say exactly what they say right there. That is photo of St. Louis Arch. We're going to put it in like that. Now, when I run this, it's not going to look a lick different. But if I put my mouse over this now, notice photo, I spelled photo wrong. I wrote photo of St. Louis Arch. And that's actually a good thing that I made the mistake, because you know now that that was something that I put in. So let's change, oops, wrong one. Let's change that, and we'll change this to photo. Photo of the St. Louis Arch. Okay. Refresh, put our cursor there, photo of, why is it not showing the? There it is. Photo of the St. Louis Arch. All right, so we're doing pretty much what they're showing in here. Now, with the target attribute, we have looked at that before, but let's, I showed you this with something else. Let's come in here, and I'm going to type in St. Louis Arch. All right, there's its home page, the Gateway Arch. So I'm going to put a control, I'm going to copy this right here. And where we have this, okay, I'm also going to add an A tag in here. All right, href equals that. And target equals underscore blank. What I've done is I've taken that picture and I've now made it into a clickable link. And if you say, I don't understand, Jeff, then let's look at it. Again, doesn't look any different, but now when I put my mouse over it, well, unless I did something wrong, but let's look. Source equal. I no longer have an ending tag in here. I think I need this. We'll see. Well, it doesn't like what I'm trying to do here. I don't have my ending A tag. There's the problem. Let's see. I do this once in a while. Sorry, I'm zoning out a little bit here. How to make an image clickable. So I wanted the A tag on the outside, not on the inside. So that's on me. We'll fix it. All right, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put in this. And then I'm going to put in this. Now let's talk about for a second, what did I do? I mean, why does it look different? Why was it wrong to begin with? First, let's run it and see if I fixed it. And if I did, we'll come back and take a look at it. Now you'll notice it's clickable. See that? And if I click on it, what I should get in a new window is the actual Arch web page. So I can go back again to my page, or I can. All right. So what changed on here? Well, first of all, I put an A tag in there. And what I'm saying is I want that to be underlined, so to speak. Well, it's an image, so it's not going to be underlined. But what I've said was when we click this image here that you see in blue, we want to go out to here and we want it to open up on a new page. So we've got an A tag here and we've got two different attributes. The first attribute is href, which again stands for hypertext reference. Notice if I put my mouse over it, it's a tooltip, contains a URL or a URL fragment that the hyperlink points to. And that's this. The second attribute we have in here is target. And notice we're using the underscore blank, and as it says, it loads the URL into a new browsing context. In other words, into a new tab for us. Then we've got image, and image actually has three different attributes. A source attribute, which as it says is mandatory, and it tells us where the source is we're pointing to. An alt tab, which basically, for lack of better words, it is required. In other words, if you don't put it in, you're not going to get an error, but it's required in that, especially for something like a browser for the blind, it will show this. Or again, if we put in the wrong thing here, so I'm going to put in COMM. I'm purposely introducing a mistake in there. And what should show now on here is this. So let's see if indeed that's the case. You go, oh, there's nothing. Watch. And here it says that the site cannot be reached because we're trying to go out to something that doesn't exist. Let's come in here and for our image, I'm going to put, I did this before, but I'm going to put in Archie right here. That's a mistake. I am purposely introducing a mistake into here. And notice, photo of St. Louis Arch by Brittany Butler of Unsplash. So again, this is also the thing that someone who comes in with a browser for the blind is going to see. All right, change it back to Arch. Let's make sure we didn't break anything, which I don't think we did. And there's our picture back again. All right, so we also have the title attribute in here as well, which provides that tooltip for us. All right. Boolean attributes. Boolean is something that can be true or false. All right. So for instance, are you married? You can't be kind of married, for example. You either are married or you are not married. There's no gray area to the computer. It's true or it's false. All right. Now, it used to be that you'd have to put in something like this. Disabled equals disabled. You'd have to say checked equals checked or something like that. But they have changed it with HTML5. So rather than putting it in like this, you just put in the word disabled. All right. Now, look at the difference between these. This is something that's disabled. This is not disabled. So when it's disabled, it's grayed out. You can't click in there. Whereas when it's not disabled, you can click in it. You can enter something. All right. Okay, next is omitting quotes around attribute values. And it says if you look at code for a lot of sites, you'll see stuff like this, where even though this should be in double quotes, it's not. And it says now when you come in here and you add a title attribute, notice neither are in double quotes, you're going to start getting errors. Why? It's going to do this, which is not what you wanted. All right. So the idea is you should always take the values of your attributes and put them in double quotes. Next, they say, should they be in single quotes or should they be in double quotes? As they say here, it's a matter of style. But that said, what you're typically going to find is it will be put in double quotes. It's not mandatory that you do it that way, but most people do. All right. So let's see, we're under the anatomy of a document. What do we have left here? Well, I'm going to go on, give you 4 more minutes worth. Let's look at what they have. In fact, let's stop right here, and we'll start up again with the anatomy of a document. So I'm going to just grab everything that you see right there, and I'm going to actually just throw it into an editor here. Why this editor? Because I can make it nice and big, as you see on your screen right now. So I'll be back with the third and probably final part of this section in just a few minutes.